From the top down. Psalm 138, verse 1. I will give you thanks with all my heart. I will sing praises to you before the gods. Why would David talk of praising God before other gods? The context of this verse clearly does away with the suggestion that David has polytheistic leanings. David wants nothing more than to convince the nations around him that God alone is worthy of adoration. Psalm 138, verse 4. That he is the source of his thanksgiving and the object of his undivided praise. Psalm 138, verse 2. Whatever the gods are, they are not the objects of worship. For David, Jehovah's love and faithfulness are without equal. Psalm 138, verses 2 and 8. The meaning of this phrase depends upon how the word Elohim is translated. Usually it is the word for God, but in some contexts, such as this one, it takes on other meanings. At least 4 views have been proposed. The least favorable is that Elohim refers to singing before the ark of God. It seems odd that David would worship before the ark and then immediately say, I will bow down toward your holy temple, in Psalm 138, verse 2. If this view is correct, the 2 phrases are unnecessarily redundant, or at least should be reversed. Others have suggested that Elohim refers to an angelic assembly. The intent of this psalm is to announce God's great love and faithfulness to the nations, to convince them to join the writer in worship of his magnificent Lord. See Psalm 110, verses 4 and 5. Reference to singing before angels in this context would be like singing to the choir or stating the obvious to creatures who are already convinced. Though Elohim can refer to angels, heavenly beings, in the New English translation of Psalm 8, verse 5. See also Hebrews 2, 7. A more widely used translation of the word is preferable in this context. A third view proposes that the word gods refers to pagan idols. Their supposed abilities and powers pale before the greatness of Jehovah, whose word or promises are reliable. That is, they are as good as his name. Psalm 110, verse 2. Again, this is an acceptable translation, but David does not appear concerned with convincing the deities of anything. Rather, he is interested in the worshippers of the gods, and probably more so their leaders. Read Psalm 110, verses 4 and 5. The fourth view seems to harness the most support. Elohim often refers to rulers and judges who, in a sense, are godlike, in that they have been authorized by God to fill positions of power and represent his perspective in human affairs. Moreover, he, Aaron, shall speak for you to the people, and he will be as a mouth for you, and you, Moses, will be as God, Elohim, to him. See Exodus 4:16. A slave appears before a judge, Elohim, to remain with his owner, Exodus 21:6. An owner appears before a judge, Elohim, to assess the effects of a theft, and rulers, Elohim, are admonished for failing to stem injustice and care for the less fortunate. Please refer to Psalm 82, verse 1, Psalm 82, verse 6, and John 10, verses 31 to 36. Rather than wanting to make his point before non-existent gods, David vows to keep the truth and wonder of his amazing God before the ruling class, who in turn will influence their people. He does not shy away from presenting a clear and honest view of the supremacy of God, who is his strength, Psalm 110, verse 3, and refuge, Psalm 110, verse 7. His hope is that neighboring rulers will take note of this great God and join him in singing praises to his matchless name. Engaging culture with enthusiasm over God's greatness and common sense nature is every generation's responsibility. When the boss knows the Lord, influence among the ranks spreads. Does anyone really wonder why power is so important from Congress to the courts and from the White House to the workplace?